Chapter 2. Biscayne Bay smelled of dead fish and aviation fuel. Danny Vance stood in the shadows of a manicured hibiscus hedge on Hibiscus Island. He wore clothes stripped from a clothesline in Coral Gables, a faded linen shirt and oversized board shorts. He left the swamp rot in a gas station sink. The Everglades stench clung to his skin, baked into his pores. The mansion loomed. 3 stories of architectural concrete, teakwood slats, and hurricane-proof glass. A monument to offshore crypto scams and leveraged buyouts. Easton Cross built a fortress of stolen money. Bo provided the schematics in the dark hours preceding dawn in their cell. Bo mapped the world through stolen blueprints. The biometric lock on the rear terrace featured a manual bypass relay inside the pool pump housing. Danny stalked across the Bermuda grass. The blades felt like razors against his bare, blistered feet. He reached the chlorine-scented utility box. He pried the plastic lid open with his thumbs. He found the toggle switch hidden behind the PVC pipes. He flipped it. A heavy metallic clack echoed from the sliding glass door. The magnetic seal disengaged. Danny stepped into the interior. The central air conditioning hit him, dropping the temperature 20 degrees. The chill raised goosebumps on his damp arms. The space smelled of ozone, expensive leather, and vetiver. He navigated the open-concept living area by the pale ambient light of the Miami skyline glowing through the floor-to-ceiling windows. He needed a weapon. Bo detailed the house layout from insurance claims. The study sat off the main gallery. Danny entered the room. A massive slab of live-edge mahogany served as a desk. He tried the center drawer. Locked. He located a heavy brass letter opener on the blotter. He jammed the brass point into the gap above the lock mechanism and levered the wood toward the floor. The latch sheared with a sharp snap. He reached inside the drawer. His fingers found the heavy, cold geometry of a handgun, a Glock 19. He ejected the magazine, full of hollow points. He slapped the magazine into the grip. He racked the slide, chambering around. He exited the study. He climbed the floating glass staircase. Thick wool carpet absorbed his footsteps on the landing. The master suite double doors stood open. He stepped inside. A man lay on a California king mattress. Easton Cross, tangled in charcoal silk sheets. Danny stepped to the edge of the bed. He pressed the cold steel muzzle of the Glock against Easton's right cheekbone. "Keep your hands on top of the sheets." Easton's eyes snapped open. The pupils dilated in the dim light. He jerked his head, attempting to dodge the weapon, but Danny drove the gun barrel into the skin, pinning Easton against the mattress. "I will pull the trigger," Danny said. Easton froze. His breath hitched in his throat. He brought his hands up, resting them flat on his chest. "Sit up. Put your back against the headboard." Danny retreated a step, keeping the gun leveled at Easton's sternum. Easton slid toward the headboard, pulling a pillow behind his back. The moonlight fell across his face. Easton stared at Danny. He blinked. He rubbed his eyes with the back of his hand. He stared again. "You recognize the face," Danny said. Easton studied Danny. The initial shock evaporated, replaced by intense clinical calculation. He examined Danny like a rare, dangerous insect. They shared the same square jaw, the same straight nose, the same dark eyes. But Easton possessed flawless skin, pampered by estheticians and expensive serums. Danny carried a network of fresh scratches, a crooked nose, and the hollow, gaunt cheeks of a man surviving on prison starch. "The fall guy," Easton said. "Danny Vance. I own the face you rented to frame me." Easton let out a short, sharp laugh. "You broke out." "I swam. They got dogs. They got thermal scopes. They missed. You want a medal? I want my 4 years back." Easton pointed a manicured finger at the Glock. You plan to shoot me with my own gun. I plan to listen to you beg. I decide your fate tonight. I refuse to beg, Easton said. He swung his legs over the side of the bed. He wore silk pajama bottoms. I make deals. I need a drink. Keep your hands in plain sight. Easton stood. He kept his palms open and visible. He crossed to a sleek teakwood wet bar in the corner of the room. He poured amber liquid from a crystal decanter into 2 heavy glasses. He picked up both glasses and returned to the bed. He offered one to Danny. Danny kept his eyes on Easton's hands. He took the glass with his left hand, keeping the Glock steady in his right. He smelled peat smoke and iodine. He took a sip. The single malt scotch burned a clean path to his stomach, warming his chest. You look terrible, Easton said. He took a sip of his own drink. He sat in a leather armchair facing the bed. 4 years in a concrete box ages a man. You came here for blood. Easton crossed his legs. A waste of energy. Blood pays 0 dividends. It leaves you dead or rotting in a cell. You want a life. You took my life. Miami is a swamp paved with cocaine and hubris, Easton said, staring at the amber liquid in his glass. People come here to reinvent themselves. They build glass towers on sand. They pretend the water stays flat. I needed a patsy. My associates left a dead girl in a hotel room. They lacked imagination. I found your profile. You possessed the right look, the right build. I bought the detectives, I bought the judge. It proved a simple transaction. Danny closed the distance. He pointed the gun at Easton's right knee. I shatter your kneecap, you bleed out on this rug. You shoot me, you get 0. The cops hunt you. The cartel hunts you. You die in an alley. Easton leaned toward Danny. You drop the gun, you leave this house a rich man. You lie. I operate on leverage, Easton said. You hold a gun. That represents temporary leverage. I hold a bank account. That represents permanent leverage. We share a face. This creates an opportunity. Danny lowered the gun an inch. Speak. I run a complex portfolio. Offshore crypto, shell companies, ghost corporations. I make massive amounts of money. The local talent respects my intellect, but they lack vision. A man named Jack Solis desires my territory. He runs concrete, sanitation, and street-level extortion. He operates like a blunt instrument. He pushes my people. He threatens my infrastructure. You want an assassin. I want a tactical asset. Easton swirled the whiskey in his glass. I require an alibi. A solid, unbreakable alibi. I sit in a public place. I shake hands with the chief of police. I drink wine with the mayor. While I perform these civic duties, you walk into Jack Solis's operation. You take his money. You dismantle his crew. You wear my skin. You want a ghost. I want a mirror. Easton smiled. You possess the prison edge. You know violence. I know finance. We merge our talents. You hurt Jack Solis. The street thinks I pulled the trigger. My reputation expands. Your bank account expands. I wire $1 million to an offshore account in your name. You buy a new identity in Brazil. You disappear. Danny studied the man in the chair. Easton exhibited 0 panic. He calculated risk and reward. He viewed human beings as numbers on a ledger. I take the job, I hold the risk, Danny said. I fail, Jack Solis kills me. I succeed, you kill me to tie up the loose end. I value efficiency. Killing you requires effort. Wiring funds requires a keystroke. I need a guarantee. You hold the gun. You hold the leverage. If I cross you, you shoot me. Easton finished his whiskey. He set the glass on a side table. You look at me, you see the man who ruined your life. I look at you, I see the solution to my current logistical nightmare. We use each other. Danny raised the glass to his lips. He finished the scotch. He set the empty glass on the mattress. I need clothes, Danny said. I need cash. I need a place to sleep. I own a condo in Brickell. Secure, anonymous. My head of security holds the keys. His name is Brick. Brick. He took too many hits to the skull in the octagon. He follows orders. He asks 0 questions. His wife, Trish, stays there. She possesses certain skills. She will teach you how to emulate my behavior. Easton stood. He walked to the walk-in closet. He pulled open a mahogany drawer. He tossed a thick stack of $100 bills onto the bed. He pulled a black linen suit from a hanger. He tossed the suit onto the mattress. Put the suit on. Take the money. Easton walked to a wall safe, hidden behind a framed abstract painting. He punched a code into the keypad. He removed a set of keys and a black rectangular key fob. He threw them to Danny. Danny caught them in his left hand. The address is on the fob, Easton said. Brick expects me. You walk in, you hand him the fob. He understands the protocol. Danny picked up the money. He shoved it into his cargo pants. He picked up the suit. You cross me, Easton, I bypass the knee. I put the bullet in your stomach. You take 3 days to die. Easton flashed a shark's smile. We share a face, Danny. We share a survival instinct. Go to the condo. Meet Brick. Meet Trish. We begin the game tomorrow. Danny kept the gun trained on Easton. He retreated from the bedroom. He descended the floating staircase. He moved through the cold, silent house. He exited through the sliding glass door into the humid Miami night. The smell of the ocean hit him. He held $1 million in promises. He held a stolen gun. He wore the face of a sociopath. He walked toward the street, ready to become the ghost.